So if it wasn't already made obvious by just how many Deku related videos we've made over here recently, Izuku Midoriya is kind of a big deal right now. And yes, I know he's the main character and everything, so that plot armor of his shines especially bright, and we all know how incredible plot armor is. But with the current events of the manga, I feel as though things are, for pretty much the very first time, centered and revolving around the kid. Once again, yes, I know he is the main character, so he's been kind of involved in most things one way or another, but nobody in the story knows that he's the main character. Really and truly, all of our arcs thus far have just had him be a factor, but never anyone's primary target. Sure, he has a knack for getting himself involved in the business of others, but it's never been just about him at the end of the day. Until now. With this video, we will be delving a bit into manga spoiler territory and speculating from there, so if you're an anime only and don't want to know how insane things have gotten and could further become, I suggest you head out from here and maybe watch one of our more anime-oriented videos. But with that, let us begin. So to further elaborate on what I was just saying, right now Shigaraki is going berserk against the heroes, all for the sake of claiming one for all from Deku. But even still, only a select few characters actually know what his intentions are here. Characters like Endeavor, Eraserhead, and Rock Lock now know that Deku is the target, but don't exactly know why. And so regardless of this conflict's outcome, no matter what, some big questions will be asked after it. The first question being, why Deku? What makes him so special? Why is Shigaraki disregarding the #1 hero here and just going after this kid who is still in training, this hero in training from high school? What makes him so special? I mean, Bakugo's here and he specifically said, yeah, no, I'm not after you this time. Meanwhile, Bakugo is the one that he kidnapped before and came first place in the sports festival. The only other direct investigative link between these characters being when Shigaraki found him at the mall. And with that, why not take him there? Why only just make a move now? The second question being based on just how many quirks this kid has at his disposal. I mean, one quirk is normal, but considering he went a whole decade without being reclassified, to suddenly have such a powerful quirk is no doubt suspicious. Two quirks are more so a rarity that usually stem from parents passing both of their respective quirks down, but neither Black Whip nor his insane strength are anything like the quirks of his parents. Quirk genetic defects are certainly a thing, but seeing as how he's largely overcome his quirk destroying his body, it'd be more likely chalked up to inexperience, which once again, at his age, is strange. And then you have quirk mutations, which are quirks that are nothing like the quirks of their parents and are something of their own entirely, like Shigaraki's Decay or Aries Rewind. And maybe if you allow yourself to reach just enough, you could believe that Black Whip and his insane strength are just two sides of one coin, which seems to be the conclusion everyone around him has come to. But absolutely all of that had to have just gone out of the window the moment that this man decided to use float. There is just no way you are about to sit here and tell me that this kid having 3 unique quirks and that the greatest calamity modern day Japan has ever seen targeting him specifically upon emergence as opposed to anyone else in the entire nation is all just a coincidence. No, the truth about One for All and subsequently All for One are going to be out there. Maybe the populace at large doesn't immediately come to know of this information. However, the top heroes, the upper echelon of heroes, is going to know. The Hero Association, who's been left in the dark over this whole thing for God knows how long, is going to know. Which to me just gives this whole situation a new layer of gravity to it, as this is to be the debut of the new symbol of peace. I mean, this is monumental. Emphasis on mental because he's not even a pro hero yet. Honestly, if he manages to clean up this situation, taking out the leader of this villainous force that threatens to decimate entire cities with just their debut, which even the #1 hero Endeavor couldn't do, having to take a breather on the sidelines and cool off, how do you think the populace would react? I mean, even if it's not done single-handedly, which it certainly won't be, in knowing that this kid who hasn't even reached the pinnacle of his power, with years upon years of heroism ahead of him, being the one chosen by their previous savior and beacon of justice, all the while also being trained by the current #1 and able to stand firmly beside him. There's just no way they don't herald him as their messiah. And so, although it may sound a bit ludicrous at first, we could very well see #1 hero Deku become a reality sooner than expected. Remember, the hero billboard charts take a variety of things into account, and so he could rise up to the top spot off of sheer popularity alone. Because who wouldn't be talking about the kid chosen by All Might to become his successor? Thus far, we've seen Deku get caught up in some pretty insane situations, but it's kind of been like a One Punch Man situation where nobody is ever around to see it, and so it's like it never happened. Taking down Stain and even being recognized to be a true hero by him, defeating Muscular to save a helpless child, aiding in the rescue of Bakugo from the clutches of Shigaraki and All for One, and being the one to defeat Overhaul, who would have screwed over all of society with the quirk-destroying drug, all of which being events the general public have no idea about. Now, in this day and age, when it comes to anime and manga, we have no shortage of overpowered, super powerful characters and such, but for me, one of the most gratifying experiences as a fan of such stories is to see these characters get recognized for how powerful they actually are. For me, that's one of the things that made the Pain Invasion arc of Naruto so impactful. Everything was on the line, and absolutely everyone, even characters who once disregarded and disrespected him, had to recognize a real one, as it all came down to him. And sure, maybe that's just a power fantasy writing device that plays to an unhealthy need for the acceptance of others. But who cares? It's badass, and with the proper build-up is just so satisfying. And in the specific context of My Hero Academia, could actually ramp things up to a new level of uncertainty, as with the very beginning of the story, Deku mentioned how this was a story of how he became the greatest hero. As a writer, it is always a pleasure to play around with the expectations of your readers and have them never truly know what lies beyond. By making Deku the #1 hero prematurely, questions of, is this the final arc of the My Hero Academia story, would only intensify, along with what happens next, where does Deku go from here, and so on and so forth. Ultimately, one of the things that separated Deku from many other shonen protagonists, at least at the beginning, was that the basis of his dream didn't necessarily entail becoming the top of his world's respective power structure. Hokage, King of the Pirates, Wizard King, no. He didn't desire to become the #1 hero. He just wanted to become a pro hero. So what would happen if he were to become #1 before even going pro? Furthermore, how would his classmates feel about all this? Not just the #1 aspect, but the fact that his quirk is literally the same one that was once possessed by All Might, and he kept it a secret. Is there even a reason to still have this quirk be a secret now that Deku is capable and he is apparently the chosen one of the quirk? And as far as we're concerned on this channel, the final user of the quirk. Hopefully you guys are like me and the idea of all this possibly happening sounds really interesting to you. Because if this isn't at the very least the beginning of some questioning and transparent answers, there's a problem. So be sure to let me know what you think in the comments or just hit me up on my various socials. And if you like these sorts of discussions and want to see more from us, I suggest you subscribe to the channel, because when it comes to bringing you some of the best My Hero Academia content on the platform, Plot Armor has you covered. As always, I am SliceofOtaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.